What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Opinionated Diva Presents Plenty of Tiff. I'm your host, Tiffany, aka Opinionated Diva. Can we get some air horns or something up in here? Why? Well, because your girl is officially celebrating a birthday, May 8th. That's right. It's my birthday episode. I am grateful, I am blessed, and I'm still just as opinionated as the day I started. Now, usually I'd be thinking about a party, but you guys know how I am. I'm a woman on a mission. This year, my birthday wish was simple. I wanted us to hit that fundraising goal for the Signal Awards. Well, I didn't reach my goal for the four categories I wanted to. I did raise enough to enter the Best Indie Podcast and Best Video Host. So thank you all who helped me realize my little old dream. If you like what you hear, though, you can still buy me a coffee whenever your heart desires, because after all, this is a one-woman show, from production to writing to editing to you name it. All the funds that you ever donate will go 100% to making this show better with each episode. Until the sponsors come knocking, your girl will be clinking a virtual tin can. Enough of a collection plate talk, though, okay? Just because it's my birthday doesn't mean the world stopped being a mess, okay? In fact, the world decided to give me plenty to talk about today. Let's jump into the Diva Drop. Of course, we're going to start with the Met Gala. Now, I'm not the only one who has been vocal about this. I'm probably the only one who won't go viral for my comments, looking at you, EJ Johnson. But he did have a point. The night as a whole just didn't move most of us like that, did it? We had the co-chairs Nicole Kidman, Venus Williams, and Queen Beyonce. I'm not really sure what being a co-chair means, and it isn't like they record any of what happens behind those doors for the public. I do know that being a co-chair allows you to break at least one of the strict rules. Beyonce and Nicole Kidman brought their mini-me's, who, by the way, are officially taller than their moms now. And yes, these sunglasses are dedicated to Blue Ivy, who refused to take them off at the Met Gala carpet, despite her mom's publicist and her father, Jay-Z, telling her on the side to take them off. And she's like, no, a diva after my own heart. They both looked beautiful on the red carpet or the Met Gala carpet. And I'm sure that it is first of many Met Galas and red carpet slays for them to come. But back to the arrivals. And yes, this is coming from someone who can't even afford the gas it took for the Sprinter vans to drive those 4 blocks from the Mark Hotel to the museum. But I do believe if I had more reference points, I feel a little bit differently. I'll be the first to admit I am not an art aficionado, and I don't claim to be. I do want to visit more museums, so if any guy out there wants to take me on a date, I just dropped a major key to Tiffany and flowers. I love plants, but I digress. I really feel like every guest should have to come with a little place card. You know, like how you see the card next to the painting on the wall to give it context and meaning, such as the artist, the time period, the meaning behind the art, etc. So for the attendees, just a little sequined or Swarovski crystal 4x6 index card that says, this is my designer, this is my inspiration, and this is how it refers to the theme or how we brought it all together. Okay, I think I have a new business idea here. Will it survive Shark Tank? Picture it, bedazzled fashion cards for red carpet events. You think I'm joking, right? But I am not the only one. Us regular people were literally out here squinting at the screen trying to figure out what the hell y'all were wearing and how it fits with the costume art theme. All in all, I do love the night for what it is. It raises money for the Met and for art, but the wow factor was just missing for me. What say you? Also, I recognize the protests going on outside regarding Jeff Bezos and the wealth gap. I see it and I was not mad at it. I would feel like a hypocrite though at this point because 1, 2, and 3, I am in a total chokehold with Amazon Prime and my tooth fire sticks. So how would I look sitting here critiquing the billionaires while my delivery driver is probably turning onto my street as I speak? Is there a middle ground here? Where is the F Jeff Bezos, but will remain a recurring Prime member people? Where do we reside? To wrap up the Met talk, why was the media trying so hard to manufacture drama where there was none? They were literally dragging Rihanna's name into every headline for clicks. First, saying she and ASAP were arguing in their car after an after party. Listen, that woman has 3 kids, and she's been with this man for years. If they were discussing whatever in a van, leave them be. Then they try to make an awkward moment with Tyler a thing. We already know Tyler posted that video saying we had to go because her baby daddy, ASAP, was calling her. I don't even know why Tyler responded to that, if only to get a reaction from the Navy. I don't know. It felt unnecessary, but I guess. It just proves my point that the Met was underwhelming. So underwhelming to the point where the biggest story was Rihanna and not for her fashion statement. Anyway, that was a Met. It happened. It's over, and it didn't move my soul. But we have a lot more to get into today that has nothing to do with museum fundraisers. It is time to shift gears, which can only mean it is time for shine, shade, or side eye, or as I like to call it, the segment that never misses. Okay, so we're moving away from the red carpet and into the real world, starting with a massive amount of shade. We have to talk about the demise of the yellow taxi in the sky. As of May 2nd, Spirit Airlines is officially out of business. 34 years in the game, and now they're gone. Now, look, we've all joked about Spirit. We've all joked about the seats that don't recline and having to pay for the air you breathe. But the reality of them shutting down immediately and leaving people stranded at the gate with zero help, the shade of it all. People actually showed up for vacation or wherever they were going and were told, sorry, the airline doesn't exist anymore. Go home. No customer service, no rebooking, just a good luck with that refund when you call that number. You might be asking, or not, if you knew better than to ever fly Spirit in the first place. How did we get here? Well, it isn't just one thing. It was a perfect storm. First, Spirit has not turned a profit in years. We're talking over $1 billion in losses since 2023. They were already on a financial tightrope, okay? Then the government blocked their merger with JetBlue last year, which was basically their only escape. And the final nail in the coffin, the soaring cost of jet fuel. With the conflict in Iran pushing oil prices to nearly $120 a barrel, Spirit's low-cost model just couldn't survive the inflation. They were trying to restructure with what I believe and what appeared to be hopes of a government bailout. In the end, to no avail. They simply ran out of runway. Pun intended. But Spirit isn't the only airline catching shade today. Let's talk about Delta. Delta, the premium airline, home of the 360 membership, they just announced that starting May 19th, they are cutting snack and beverage service on flights under 350 miles for everyone except first class, of course. So if you're flying from New York to Boston, Atlanta to Charlotte, you can forget about those Biscoff cookies, honey, and your little ginger ale. Delta says they are doing this for consistency and because fuel costs, again, are up 35% this year. But hold on. You've already raised the price for extra leg room. You've hiked the checked bag fees, and now you're coming for my snacks. Listen, if the price of oil is so high that you can't afford a cookie at 30,000 feet, then there better be, and I fully expect, a full refreshment station at the gate before I board. If I'm paying premium prices, I shouldn't be sitting in 17B with a dry throat and a dream. It's the Delta audacity of it all for me. Really, it is getting expensive just to exist. And these airlines are leading the charge. Spirit is gone, leaving a hole in the budget travel market, and Delta is nickel and diming us for a cup of water. It's definitely a side eye to the industry as a whole, but a total shade to how they are treating passengers. But oh no, we're not done yet. I got a few more things that need a little shine and a whole lot of shade. So don't move because we're just getting started. Now let's detour from the airline drama to the courtroom because the headlines have been flooded with high-profile acquittals and dismissals. We have to start with Stefon Diggs. Just this week, a jury in Massachusetts found the former Patriots receiver not guilty on all charges, including felony strangulation and misdemeanor assault. Now let's unpack the why of it all. The accuser, his former live-in chef, alleged that he slapped and choked her during an argument over pay for her culinary services. But when the defense got their turn, honey, they revealed that in negotiations, she reportedly turned down $100,000 settlement and instead demanded $5.5 million. And I mean, to be honest, I'm not mad at money moves, okay? But it isn't me you have to convince, it's the jury. Then the defense showed video in court of her dancing, laughing, and looking pretty jolly just hours to a day after the alleged attack took place. No marks, no bruises, just vibes. Now, I'm not sure who recorded that video and if they voluntarily turned over that piece of evidence or how its existence came to be? Did the prosecution know about this beforehand? The jury deliberated for less than 2 hours. I'm side-eyeing the prosecution on this one because you got to do better at preparing your witness and reviewing evidence. Granted, I only know what has been reported and the limited amount of time I took to deep dive, but my opinion still stands. Okay. Next, we have literal breaking news. Something told me not to record yet because I felt like there was more plenty of Tiff tea coming my way. And you might remember earlier this year, a violinist sued Will Smith and his management company for sexual harassment and wrongful termination. He claimed there was grooming and predatory behavior going on during a 2025 tour, specifically alleging a strange incident where he found a sexual note in his hotel room that he believed came from Smith's team. Well, that case has hit a wall and was dismissed like yesterday. Will's team maintained from day one that the claims were false, baseless, and reckless. In cases like this, when there isn't a concrete evidence base to back up the grooming narrative or the connection to the defendant himself, the court isn't just going to let that move forward. It's another example of high-profile names being attached to a headline that eventually runs out of steam. So let's talk about why these type of cases are so hard to prove in court. So this is a Cliff Notes version. So, okay, I'm not here for all the commentary, all right? Most of these incidents happen behind closed doors with no witnesses and without DNA or immediate medical records, which weren't present in the Diggs case. It becomes a battle of credibility. Number two, the burden of proof. In a criminal case, you have to prove guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. That is a very high bar. And if there's a video of you dancing 24 hours later, that doubt starts creeping in real fast for a jury. That's just the truth. The demeanor trap. Right or wrong, juries look for perfect victims. They expect you to look a certain way after trauma. If you don't look devastated in the eyes of a stranger, they start questioning your story. And it is not fair, but it is a legal reality. And as a true crime addict, I've seen it happen time and time again. Even the guilty will change their demeanor to look believable. Now, I'm no legal eagle, but I will say we have to protect survivors and we have to protect the truth. It is not my place to say whether the chef was assaulted or strangled by Stefon or not. It is not even my place to say what I believe happened because public opinion has no place here. She knows her truth. Stefon knows his truth, and the legal system determined what they determined. The same for the violinist and Will Smith. The media loves the drama, but the law requires the receipts, honey, okay? And lately, in these two cases, the receipts came back blank. Y'all, just when I thought I was closing the books on the courtroom drama, you know what? Just call me Judge Diva. TMZ literally just dropped some intel that made me turn my chair right back around and my side eye right along with it. We have another athlete in the legal mix, but this time it's coming from the NBA. And it is a toxic merry-go-round. Charlotte Hornets' Miles Bridges has been officially granted a temporary restraining order against his ex-partner, Michelle Johnson. I don't know these two from a can of paint because I am not into the NBA. You can thank the original Charlotte Hornets who committed treason when they went to New Orleans and became the Pelicans, only to come back to North Carolina like nothing happened. They have no loyalty, and I'm still salty. Anyway, records show that there is a deep, dark history between these two. Back in 2022, Miles was the one in handcuffs, and in 2023, a judge issued a 10-year criminal protection against him, requiring him to stay away from her at all times. Yes, the same girlfriend. But fast forward to today, and the tables have turned. He must have convinced the judge that she is now the one doing the harassing. In the court documents, it's alleged that she's cyber stalking him with burner accounts and even showed up to a Hornets game intoxicated to tamper with his car while he was on the court. It's a mess on both sides. We went from her needing protection to him, and to him needing a legal shield from her, and he can't be at his job, and she up in his DMs. Honey, it's a whole situation. At the end of the day, when you have a 10-year order in place and you're still ending up in court together, nobody is winning and somebody is lying. In the words of a wise man, you want to be starting something, you got to be starting something. The judge signed off on the order, and it requires that she stay at least 100 feet away from him and have zero contact. Honey, it's a mess. These relationships are playing out like a psychological thriller, and the court is the only place left to produce the damn sequel. Okay? I had more for y'all, but honey, I had to stop there because it was just too much. Let's move on to read the room. And today, the room is smelling like hand sanitizer and questionable policies and shakeups. We are talking about the Hantavirus outbreak on the ocean-wide expeditions MV Hantavirus cruise ship. Now, let's get the facts straight so nobody out here is spreading information circa 2020, honey. And I want to be clear because I am not a fearmonger. This is not a pandemic. The World Health Organization has confirmed this was the Andes strain, a virus native to South America, Argentina, and Chile, known for being the only strain that spreads person to person. It is believed that the outbreak originated from a passenger who went on a birdwatching tour in a landfill in Argentina before boarding. Now, my read the room number one is this. Why the fuck are you going on a birdwatching tour in a damn landfill? Did you pay for this? Apparently, this is a popular, albeit niche, activity in Argentina. When I say that is for the birds, this is not what I mean. Argentina, get on the line, honey. We need to have a talk. But my read the room doesn't end there. While this outbreak was happening on the cruise ship, the Department of Health and Human Services under RFK Jr. made the decision last month to eliminate the civilian staff of the Center for Disease Control's vessel sanitation program. Now, I'm going to need DHHS to fact check me on this. Those inspectors were not paid by our tax dollars. They were, in fact, funded by the cruise line themselves through user fees. So you just fire experts who keep those ships safe, experts the government didn't even have to pay for, leaving a skeleton crew of 12 to oversee the entire industry. Full transparency, so I won't look one-sided. They let go of civilian employees within this division, and they kept the public health service officers, who are healthcare professionals in fields such as medicine, nursing, engineering, etc. However, at the CDC's own admission, in 2025, more than 20 million people embarked from North American ports. During a year when norovirus is already spiking, and yes, I know the cruise ship in question did not even travel to the U.S., but guess who did? The 23 U.S. passengers that boarded that mother. To begin with, Jesus be a nationwide fumigation effort and a fully functioning ICU because there is no cure or antiviral drug or vaccine for hantavirus once a person has been infected. RFK Jr., the man who was more focused on allowing teens to use a tanning bed than potential outbreaks on marine vessels. RFK, take them damn tanning goggles off and read the room. Here's the thing. I've been on cruises, albeit my last one was pre-pandemic, but I've had many, many friends go on cruises since then, and I've always felt safe, and I've always felt every aspect of the ship was clean. Why? Because I saw with my own two eyeballs, the employees every day and night scrubbing the railings, wiping the elevators, sanitizing the buffets like 24/7. They are doing their job, okay? So here's the bigger question. You need to ask yourself this. How many times have I washed my hands today? Sure, we can blame the government, we can blame the CDC, and we can even blame the cruise lines. But some of y'all are nasty. You're out here doing the absolute most with those 10 or less fingers, depending on the circumstance, touching your face, touching public surfaces, bumping uglies, and walking right past the sink. This is why we have hantavirus. This is why we had COVID. This is why we still have the flu and every other communicable virus that exists. It isn't always a mystery. It's called basic hygiene. Wash your damn hands. Because if I have to go through another pandemic lockdown, I am expecting to be bumped first on the list for a liver transplant, honey, because I will personally make every liquor store in the city go out of business before I stay home to my own devices again. Well, that is it for today. Episode 17 was a doozy, was it not? As always, please tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend about Plenty of Tiff, and make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Comments never hurt either. And you can find me on Instagram and TikTok at Opinionated Diva or The Opinionated Diva on TikTok. And wherever you listen to your podcast, honey, go there and find me if you don't want to see my face, but how dare you? I am now going to go enjoy maybe some birthday cake, maybe a nice glass of tequila or five. Until next time, peace.